GTA 6 has been drowning in rumors for years, but we finally have a clear picture of what is actually real. Sifting through all the fake hype, there are a handful of massive leaks that are practically locked in for the final build. Things are getting completely overhauled this time around. Rockstar is heavily rumored to be gutting a classic transportation feature that has been a staple of the franchise for decades. Fans are going to lose their minds when they realize how the cops are going to hunt you down because the wanted system is bringing back a brutal 6-star mechanic we haven't seen in a very long time. Everyone has been asking the exact same question since the initial reveals dropped. Just how massive is Leonida actually going to be? Leakers with a proven track record, the same exact guys who correctly called out Jason and Lucia by name before the trailer, are now dropping absolute bombshells about the core gameplay loop. We are talking about total transformations to how you interact with the world, directly importing hardcore elements straight out of Red Dead Redemption 2. Imagine being forced to manage a limited inventory for your arsenal, or having to manually loot your enemies after a massive firefight just to keep your ammo stocked. That level of realism is insane for a GTA title, but that is only scratching the surface. Word on the street is that the seamless map navigation is completely ditching loading screens, even when you swap between the two protagonists. Spider-Man 2 pulled off that kind of instant transition, and seeing it applied to an open world this massive is mind-blowing. Something even bigger is happening with the main story, and it has the potential to seriously divide the community. Reliable sources are suggesting a major shift in the campaign's length and the overall chapter structure compared to Rockstar's last masterpiece. Are we honestly looking at a much shorter narrative than everyone anticipated? What exactly happens if the brand new relationship bar punishes you for going rogue and causing absolute chaos in the streets? The amount of crazy details hiding in plain sight is staggering. Take-Two Interactive quietly filed a domain registration back in 2025 for something called ijimi.app, and almost nobody caught it. That specific detail completely changes how we are going to navigate Vice City. Rumor has it classic yellow taxis are getting ripped right out of the game. It looks like Rockstar is building a full-blown parody of the gig economy with a literal Uber clone accessible directly through your in-game phone. You won't be whistling on a street corner waiting for a ride anymore. Digging a little deeper into social media reveals an even crazier situation with the radio stations. Electronic bands like Panama and Neon Indian accidentally spilled the beans online that their tracks were licensed for the new soundtrack. Panic clearly set in because those posts were immediately scrubbed from the internet. Both of those artists were featured heavily in GTA 5, making this a massive confirmation that the iconic vibe of Los Santos is carrying over into Leonida. Another massive clue hiding right under our noses connects directly to the core combat loop. Character abilities are definitely returning, but they are getting a serious reality check. Jason is reportedly rocking an eagle eye mechanic that highlights environmental objects, pulling directly from Arthur Morgan's playbook. Lucia takes a different route with dedicated hacking skills, hinting at some serious stealth infiltration missions where you manipulate security systems instead of just blasting through the front door. Everything points to your actions having actual consequences this time around. Leaks from 2022 showed a relationship bar, but people completely misunderstood what it actually meant. Players assumed it was just a simple romance feature between the two main characters. The reality is way more intense. This mechanic operates like a hardcore honor system, permanently altering how the world reacts to your specific choices. Going on a random rampage might actually ruin critical story opportunities or completely block off certain interactions. Throw in the fact that Rockstar has recorded more complex NPC dialogue than any other project in their history, and the entire city is going to feel terrifyingly alive. Background details and official screenshots are also backing up rumors about insane new side activities. An NBA 2K-style basketball minigame is supposedly making its debut. Publisher Take-Two obviously has the physics engine and animation tech from their sports division just sitting there ready to be ported over. Imagine taking a break from robbing banks to drop some points on a local street court in a fully fleshed out side hustle. Hardcore fans are already fighting online about the new inventory system. Carrying a walking arsenal inside your back pocket is officially dead. Rockstar is heavily leaning into the realism engine, meaning you actually have to manage your gear. Reddit users are pointing out that we are getting true hipfire mechanics and the ability to loot individual downed enemies. Some players are definitely going to blow a gasket when they realize they cannot carry 20 rocket launchers anymore. Limiting your weapons forces you to prep for every single mission. You have to actively think about what you are bringing into a firefight. Gunfights will feel heavier and way more tactical than the arcade style running and gunning we had back in Los Santos. Surviving those shootouts is going to require serious skill because the cops are not playing around this time. We have been stuck with a 5-star maximum wanted level for a decade. Back in the day, seeing those tanks roll down the street meant you had basically beaten the game's heat system. Now, The military response is just another Tuesday in Leonida. It completely changes the in-game sandbox experience. Pushing the chaos to a 6-star rating brings the actual military crashing down on your head. Escaping a literal army response will demand perfect driving and absolute map knowledge. Hardware limitations used to dictate how fast you could escape a massive hit level. Current generation consoles are completely eliminating those barriers. Leaked footage showed the camera snapping between Jason and Lucia across the map without a single loading screen. Fast travel is going to feel seamless. Imagine pulling off a bank job with Jason tossing the loot in a trunk and instantly snapping over to Lucia parked miles away in the getaway car. Spider-Man 2 gave us a taste of this speed, but doing it in a dense, highly populated city is next-level technology. Pulling off a coordinated heist where you swap perspectives mid-getaway with zero lag is a massive flex for the new game engine. Content density is clearly taking priority over a dragged-out narrative. Legacy Killer HD dropped some intel suggesting the main campaign tops out at just 5 chapters. Red Dead Redemption 2 was an absolute masterpiece, but those epilogue chapters dragged on forever. Cutting it down to 5 chapters means less filler missions. Every single cutscene and shootout will actually matter to the overall plot. People panicked thinking the game was going to be tiny compared to Arthur Morgan's massive journey. Trimming the fat of the primary storyline actually leaves way more room for dynamic world events and insane side quests. Having a shorter, punchier main plot keeps the pacing tight while giving us a sandbox that never gets boring. Gamers get a massive world packed with endless distractions instead of being locked into an 80-hour movie. Buried deep inside these promotional leaks was a tiny detail that almost the entire internet completely glossed over. The OpenCritic review, placeholder data attached to this massive info dump, explicitly lists November 19, 2026 as the target launch date. Take a second to process the timing on that schedule. Releasing a blockbuster of this magnitude right before Thanksgiving guarantees it will absolutely dominate the holiday market. All these core mechanics stacked together paint a wild picture of what the studio has actually been cooking behind closed doors. Fusing a rideshare app with a brutal 6-star military response and hardcore survival inventory management completely reinvents the traditional sandbox. Anyone expecting just another glossy, reskinned version of Los Santos is walking into a brutal trap. Leonida feels deliberately designed to punish reckless arcade behavior while rewarding those who respect the new world rules. If you rush through the Titan story while completely ignoring the honor system, your character will likely end up broke, starved for ammo, and hunted by the feds. Survival requires actual strategy this time around, not just spamming cheat codes to spawn a tank. Rockstar is taking an unbelievable gamble by altering their billion-dollar formula this drastically. Mainstream crowds might get seriously frustrated when forced to deal with weapon weight limits and permanent narrative consequences. Die-hard veterans, on the other hand, are absolutely going to eat this level of unmatched immersion right up. Sound off in the comments about which of these leaked features is going to completely break the meta. Drop a like to feed the algorithm and lock in your sub so you never miss a drop. Catch you guys in the next one.